it's Haley, and today I'm going to be giving you guys my top 6 tips to help you guys read more. So I've been seeing quite a few videos like this popping up lately, all of a sudden. I don't know why. I guess it would be because everyone's gone back to school now, so we don't really have as much free time as we did in the summer, and you can't really read all that much. So today I'm going to be helping you guys find time to read even at your busiest times. So I personally am completely swamped right now. I have so much reading to do for school that it is ridiculous, and I'm just drowning in work. So I can't really read that much right now. But when I'm done all of these readings and like I don't have so much reading to do for school and I only have papers and stuff like that, then I will follow these tips, and they really help me to find time to read and make sure that reading remains fun. So tip number 1 is a pretty common tip when it comes to these videos, and it's really simple to do and it helps tremendously, and that is to bring a book with you wherever you go. By making sure that you always have a book on you, you're making it much more likely that you are going to, when you have some free time and you're just sitting around bored doing nothing, waiting for something, you're going to be more likely to pull out a book and read rather than pull out your phone and scroll through Instagram or Tumblr or Twitter or whatever. And reading a book is a much more productive use of your time, and you look really smart just sitting there waiting for something, reading your book. I always bring a book to school, so then I always get to class early, so if I'm sitting in class, I can just sit there, stick in my headphones, and read my book. No one's gonna bug me, and it's just lovely. Now, if you're the kind of person who reads more than one book at a time, then pick the book that you're kind of most into at the moment, or the smallest book that can like fit into your backpack or whatever, and bring that one with you because it will be the most easy to carry around. I mean, don't choose like a big bulky book, like don't go and bring like Moby Dick with you to class because that's a huge book and it's gonna take up a lot of room. See, I'm saying that, but lately I've been bringing Brandon Sanderson's The Final Empire, which is like a 700-page chunk of a book with me and carrying it around. So, but if that's an issue for you and you want a smaller book, then just pick a smaller book and bring it with you. Or you can even look online and find some books, and by that I mean go and find some older books, so like Jane Austen books, like stuff like that that the copyright isn't really valid anymore on, so they're under, I don't know what license they're under for copyright, but you're able to find them online and you're not breaking any laws or anything like that. You can find a bunch of old books, a bunch of old classics online, really easily accessible to you, and it just gives you the chance to start a new book or just read. Tip number 2 is another pretty common tip, and that is to set aside a daily time for reading. So personally, and I think a lot of people have this time, but I will always read right before I go to bed. I have so much trouble sleeping, so it's really helpful for me to read because it keeps me off of my phone, and it kind of helps me to relax as I'm reading, and I find myself sometimes falling asleep as I'm reading, not because the book is boring, but just because it's such a like relaxing activity. So it's really great to set aside time for reading. Maybe you're going to make your time for reading while you're eating lunch or while you're eating breakfast. Maybe you'll just set aside like from 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. I'll read. Whatever works for you, just set aside a specific block of time that you're going to read, so then you know if you're busy throughout the day, you can look forward to that time that you have to read. Tip number 3 is to accept what kind of reader you are. Now, this took me kind of a really long time, and I'm still not really quite sure what kind of reader I am. Right now I'm in a reading slump kind of because I have so much to read for school, so I'm kind of a slumpy reader right now, but normally I'm like a mediocre reader. I can read really fast at times, but I also can read some books really slowly. It kind of depends on the book. But what I mean by that is if you're a slow reader, don't put a bunch of pressure on yourself to read more quickly, because then it's not fun anymore. And that happened to me. I did that. I was like, I need to read these books so quickly so that I can have a huge wrap up, blah, 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 blah. But it doesn't matter. I mean, if you read 2 books in a month, that's awesome. That's more than a lot of people read in like a year, which is crazy to me. But as long as you're reading, who really cares? And even if you take breaks in between reading, I mean, then you're going to enjoy the books more. That might be the kind of reader you are. And I think I might be that kind of reader where I have to kind of take breaks in between books because I'll kind of burn myself out. But I have a whole video on that I will link down below. It's kind of a discussion video. But basically what I'm saying is if you're a slow reader, don't put pressure on yourself because you're not going to enjoy it, and that means that you are going to kind kind of dread the time that you have to read, and you're gonna not read as much because you'll just be like, oh, I have to read so quickly, and it's just gonna make it very stressful. Tip number 4 is to choose a good reading environment. Now, there are good reading environments and bad reading environments, and what you consider good and bad kind of varies from person to person. For me, I have to have minimal distraction, so I will usually lay in my bed and read, which is kind of problematic because then a lot of the times I will fall asleep. So I haven't really found an ideal spot. I guess if I had like a chair in front of a window, a comfy chair with a blanket and pillows, that would be lovely. But anyways, I think my bed is kind of my spot right now, but you may like reading outside. I find that outside there are too many people, too many cars going by. I don't really have a nice park near me, or else I would read there. But just find a good place that you find that you can read a lot and that you're enjoying yourself when you're reading. Tip number 5 is to find the right music. Now, if you like reading without any music, then that's really great too, but personally I like there to be a little bit of background noise, but it can't have words at all. I cannot read if like people are talking near me, or if like there's music with lyrics on. I start singing it and I start like saying things in my head. It's ridiculous. I sound like I'm crazy, but I need music that is upbeat but doesn't have any words and keeps me engaged with the story. This may be classical for you. This may be like electric, I don't know, what's it called? Dubstep? That stuff? I don't like that stuff. But what I love listening to is movie music. Movie soundtracks are my favorite. Harry Potter is my ultimate favorite reading soundtrack. I love it. I adore it. It's just great because movie soundtracks are normally like really upbeat. You can find some really upbeat songs and they have like different tempos. I really enjoy that stuff, and I have a whole Spotify playlist. I'll try and link it down below. I don't know if that's something that I can do, but I will always put that on when I'm reading, and I find that it helps me read faster. Sometimes it's funny because there will be like a really high action song on and it will be like a really sad part in the book, but it still gives like the reading a little bit, it makes it come to life a little bit because of the music. I don't know if that makes any sense, but I really like listening to movie soundtracks while I'm reading, so it works for me. And my final tip is to listen to audiobooks. Audiobooks are great. If you don't have a lot of time to be sitting there and flipping pages and reading, audiobooks are a really great way to still read but still like do your homework and stuff like that, I guess. You can listen to an audiobook while you're doing your homework if that works for you. I can do that sometimes. You can listen to it while you're driving, while you're on the bus to school, while your parents are driving you to school. You can go for a walk to your little reading place and listen to an audiobook before you like sit down and actually read. There's so many opportunities for you to listen to an audiobook, and they are awesome. One of my favorite things to do is when I get really stressed with studying, I'll take out my coloring book that I have and I will put on an audiobook and I just relax, and it is really just great. I love it. I get my audiobooks from my library, so check out your library and see if they have some audiobooks. Mine have them online, which is really cool. A lot of libraries have that as well, and also Audible is a great way to get audiobooks. I haven't really used it that much, but I've heard that it's great and it seems great, so I think that would be a great way. I mean, audiobooks are really easily accessible and really awesome, so definitely check them out. So yeah, those are my top 6 tips to help you guys read more. I hope you guys found these to be interesting or helpful for you guys. Let me know what some of your tips are down below, and yeah, I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!